You're not where you are today because of some grand, dramatic event. You're here because of a decision. A small one. A moment that felt so insignificant. You probably forgot it even happened. Maybe you stayed up 10 minutes longer than usual one night and stumbled across a video. Maybe you replied to a message you were about to ignore. Maybe you walked away instead of giving in. It never felt like the moment. Because it didn't look like one. It looked like life. Messy, ordinary, forgettable. But that decision, small as it was, shifted your trajectory. Every movie has its inciting incident. But real life has ripples. And ripples don't announce themselves. They're quiet. Until one day, everything's different. Ever heard of the butterfly effect? It's not just poetic. It's physics. It's reality. In chaos theory, the flap of a butterfly's wings could, through a chain of tiny shifts, eventually influence the formation of a hurricane on the other side of the world. Unbelievable? Maybe. But your life works the same way. The moment you walked into a room you didn't need to be in. The conversation you almost skipped. The application you sent despite feeling unqualified. They weren't footnotes. They were hinges. And your whole story swings on them. Steve Jobs dropped out, but took a random calligraphy class. Years later, that class helped define Apple's visual design. Nobody noticed it at the time. But it became one of the most iconic decisions in tech history. Big futures are built on invisible moments. Because you showed up when you didn't have to. Bhuvan Bam. Just another guy with a camera. One upload. A ripple. Now millions know his name. But it started with one private decision. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. Rejected. Underestimated. She could have quit. Instead, she launched Biocon in a garage. That ripple grew into a biotech revolution. A college student turned down a safe job. Everyone thought he was foolish. But he built an app, failed, pivoted, and eventually succeeded. While others got salaries, he bought freedom. It all started with one small decision. Your alarm rings. Your thumb's on Instagram before your feet hit the ground. You're not awake. You're not asleep. You're stuck. This is the microloop. A cycle of invisible microdecisions on autopilot. You're not choosing. You're reacting. Not lazy. Just looped. Your brain loves familiarity. The more you repeat something, the deeper the groove. Eventually, it's not a habit. It's who you are. Finish a task. You feel pride. Skip it. Resistance deepens. That residue becomes your identity. But you don't need hype. You need a momentum machine. One loop broken can reset the whole system. Think of life as a massive video game. Every decision unlocks new levels you didn't even know existed. Most people never move past level 1. Not because they're incapable, but because they never chose to start. Every time you say yes to discomfort, you trigger momentum. A small-town artist posts her sketches online. No likes. But she keeps going. Eventually, a gallery finds her. Then a client. Then an agency. You didn't see the chain at the start, but you built it. You're already making a decision, right now. Watching this video. A choice. What you do next. A fork in the road. Scroll. The loop continues. Act. You shift your trajectory. Not about hype. It's about compound action. One message. One journal entry. One push-up. One night without doom scrolling. That's the real algorithm. You show up. Then tomorrow, you show up again. There are other versions of you out there. One that started the gym. One that built the brand. One that quit the job and went for it. One that healed. One that fought. One that loved bravely. You don't meet those versions because of choices you didn't make. Each tiny decision splits a timeline. Ask yourself, what small decision would your 5 years later self whisper back and say? Thank you. That's your compass. Follow it. Here's the brutal truth. The best decisions you'll ever make? Nobody will understand them. Nobody will clap. Nobody will notice. They'll look boring, weak, wasteful. But that 4 a.m. grind? That silence you choose instead of noise? That reading habit? That one ignored notification? It's genius at work. Quietly. Kobe in the gym before sunrise. Marie Curie in her lab. You, choosing to study while others scroll. You're not behind. You're just early in your bloom. We talk about bad decisions. But what about the ones you didn't make? That's decision debt. It accumulates. Quietly. Every time you delay action, the cost gets heavier. Lost confidence. Missed clarity. Wasted time. It's like interest. By the time you're ready, you're too drained to act. Most people aren't stuck because of failure. They're stuck because of avoidance. Write 3 decisions you've been avoiding. Circle the scariest. Now make one irreversible move. One message. One post. One push. And you're back. 10 years from now, someone's going to ask you, what changed? You'll smile and say, honestly, I just made a decision one day. They'll laugh. But you'll know. Because revolutions don't begin with battles. They begin with whispers. With a blink. A step. A moment. And this could be yours. One tiny decision can change your entire life. And here's the part no one tells you. The most transformative decision isn't always loud. It doesn't come with fanfare. It doesn't trend. It comes in silence, a shift no one sees but you. You say no to something toxic. Not dramatically. Just once. Then again. And again. And suddenly, you're breathing easier. You're thinking clearer. That's momentum. That's evolution. You stop chasing people who drain you. You walk away, not to be cold, but to come home to yourself. That's growth. That's a quiet rebellion against everything that once made you small. Maybe the decision is to ask a hard question. Finally. To yourself, in the mirror. Who am I? Who am I becoming? Who would I be if I didn't keep lying to myself? You're not just building a better week. You're constructing a life. One choice at a time. Keep going. Let this be the moment you stop waiting for the right time. The truth is, the right time is never announced. It is chosen. Momentum favors those who move, even imperfectly. It's the choice to start writing when you feel like you have nothing to say. The choice to speak when your voice still shakes. The decision to show up when no one notices yet. You begin to understand. The reward isn't applause. It's alignment. That inner signal that says, this is who I am. This is who I'm meant to become. Make one powerful decision today. One that scares you. One that frees you. Do it with trembling hands. Do it confused. Do it unsure. But do it. Because that's where life starts. And the future, your future, is already shifting. You think change happens when you're ready. When you've got it figured out. When the plan is clear. But the truth? Change begins when you're done waiting. It begins in the moment you stop rehearsing your potential. And finally step into it. Not when it's perfect. Not when it's easy. But when you're exhausted from shrinking. From playing small. From negotiating with your doubt. From asking life for permission. That's the moment things shift. It doesn't look like a TED Talk. It doesn't feel like a movie climax. There's no music swell, no camera pan. It looks like a 2 a.m. whisper. A shaky breath. A quiet, I've had enough. That's the beginning of everything. You've been taught to wait for motivation. For clarity. For the signal. But clarity doesn't come before action. It's a byproduct of momentum. Want to know who gets ahead? Not the smartest. Not the richest. Not even the most talented. It's the ones who move while others hesitate. There's a moment in every life when the old path stops working. When the story you've been telling yourself no longer fits. You look in the mirror and barely recognize the person looking back. Not because you've changed, but because you haven't. You've been living on loop. Same thoughts. Same choices. Same outcomes. But here's the truth. You're not stuck because of what you lack. You're stuck because of what you keep. The comfort. The patterns. The illusions. Here's what no one tells you. You don't find yourself. You build yourself. Identity isn't discovered. It's constructed. Decision by decision. Every time you show up. Even when it's hard. Even when it's quiet. Even when no one sees you. You're laying bricks. Building a life that wasn't given to you. But forged by you. People wait for confidence. But confidence isn't the cause of action. It's the result. You don't act because you believe. You believe because you acted. You think courage is loud? No. Courage is quiet. It's sending that email. Recording that first video. Asking for help. Admitting the truth. It's not about being fearless. It's about moving with your fear in the passenger seat. Do you know how breakthroughs happen? Not in one leap, but in inches. Painful, awkward inches. It's waking up and doing what you said you'd do, even when you're not in the mood. It's saying no to one distraction, one indulgence, one familiar escape. Not forever, just for today. Then again tomorrow. Inch by inch, you arrive. Let's talk about the lie. I'll start when I'm ready. That's fear. Dressed up as strategy. You're not avoiding action because you're not ready. You're avoiding identity death. See, the second you act, you're no longer who you were. And that's terrifying. Because even if the old version of you was miserable, at least it was known. Predictable. But growth. Growth feels like grief. You're mourning the person you used to be, while becoming someone you don't fully recognize yet. Here's a secret most people never realize. You will outgrow almost everyone. Friends. Habits. Beliefs. Even versions of yourself. And it will feel lonely. Because you're not just walking a new path. You're building one. Others won't get it. They'll say you've changed. That you're different. That you're distant. They're right. You're not who you used to be. And thank God. Growth will cost you your comfort, your excuses, your timelines. But it will give you something greater. Alignment. Power. Peace. Not the peace that comes from silence, but the peace that comes from knowing that you're finally living as the person you were meant to become. Not one day. Today. Some people build resumes. Others build legacies. Resumes list what you've done. Legacies whisper who you were. How you made people feel. What you stood for. What you dared to pursue, even when it didn't make sense to anyone but you. Remember this. Your life is always speaking to you. In the restlessness. In the dreams that won't go away. In the anxiety that spikes every time you betray your potential. You know what I mean. That feeling when you scroll and your chest tightens. Not because you're jealous, but because you know. You were made for more. Don't mistake discomfort for failure. It's a sign you're growing. Muscles tear before they build. Minds break before they expand. Identities die before rebirth. You're in the middle. The messy, sacred middle. Where nothing makes sense, but everything is being rewritten. Stay there. Hold the line. Keep showing up. One decision can crack the entire pattern. A walk instead of another hour in bed. A message instead of avoidance. A question instead of silence. A no instead of one more sure. You don't need more time. You need more urgency. Let's talk about her. The version of you who's already where you want to be. She's not luckier. She's not smarter. She just decided sooner. She did the things no one clapped for. She deleted the apps. She had the hard conversation. She showed up when she was insecure, tired, uncertain. And she kept going. Your future self is watching. She's begging you to stop self-sabotaging. To stop talking yourself out of action. You don't need a miracle. You need a moment. This one. You know what's scarier than failure? A life of half decisions. Half effort. Half lived days. You weren't born to live in the gray. You were born to burn. To risk. To build something so authentic. It scares the people still faking it. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to impress the world is the moment the world begins to notice. Because real is rare. And rare is magnetic. Don't let your legacy be convenience. Let it be conviction. Don't be remembered for how well you blended in. Be remembered for how boldly you broke through. If you're listening to this, it means there's still time. Time to write the book. Launch the brand. Speak your truth. Build the body. Heal the wound. Start again. But don't wait. Please, don't wait. Not for the new year. Not for Monday. Not for certainty. Do it scared. Do it shaking. Do it messy. But do it now. Because the life you crave? It's already inside you. Waiting. Not for the world to hand you permission. But for you to choose it. And once you do, everything changes. Not all at once. But all for good. Fade out gently with soft piano, or ambient cinematic hum. Voice lingers. This was the moment everything began.